Imagine boarding a flight and settling into a private bedroom, or walking to a dining room where everyone eats together near a grand piano. In the 1930s, this was how the wealthy crossed the Atlantic. The vessel providing this luxury was the Hindenburg. At 245 meters long, it was only 24 meters shorter than the Titanic, easily dwarfing a modern Boeing 747. In the early days of aviation, engineers saw two distinct ways to conquer the sky. They could either build a heavy machine and generate massive power to push it through the air, or they could build a vessel that was lighter than the air itself. The first path requires mechanical aggression. You need loud engines and a long runway to achieve forceful lift. The second path, using buoyant gas, allows a massive ship to simply float upward. For decades, the lighter-than-air path was the standard for high-end international travel. These ships were the only aircraft capable of carrying passengers across oceans in quiet, hotel-like comfort. But in 1937, this entire timeline of aviation seemed to vanish in exactly 34 seconds. These ships were the vision of Ferdinand von Zeppelin. In the late 19th century, he theorized that by placing multiple gas bags inside a rigid aluminum frame, he could create a sturdy, navigable aircraft. Zeppelin's success was built on a grueling process of trial and error. He endured multiple crashes, ships destroyed by storms, and total financial ruin before his designs finally became reliable enough for the military. After Zeppelin's death, his successor, Hugo Eckener, transformed the technology into a commercial success. He piloted the ships on record-breaking global journeys, and they were widely welcomed as symbols of international peace. That reputation changed in 1933 when the Nazi Party took power. Eckener was a fierce critic of Hitler and refused to name his newest ship after the dictator or use the Zeppelin fleet for political propaganda. Eckener stubbornly named the ship the Hindenburg after the German president. Infuriated, the Nazi regime seized control of the company's operations and forced their own branding onto the ship's tail fins anyway. While the world watched the political tension between Eckener and the Nazis, a separate engineering compromise was quietly making the Hindenburg's next flight its last. To float, an airship needs a lifting gas. The safest choice is helium because it is inflammable, but in the 1930s, the United States held a virtual monopoly on the global helium supply. Because of an American embargo on helium exports, Germany was forced to fill the Hindenburg with hydrogen instead, a gas that is lighter than helium but incredibly volatile. On May 6, 1937, the Hindenburg arrived in New Jersey under heavy, overcast skies. The crew was forced to navigate through a storm system characterized by high winds and heavy electrical activity. To align with the winds during landing, the captain executed a sharp turn. This put immense stress on the frame, causing a structural wire to snap. That wire slashed a gas bag, leaking invisible hydrogen into the upper ridge. The storm grounded a massive static charge onto the frame. When a spark jumped, it ignited the hydrogen, setting off a chain reaction of fire that consumed the ship in seconds. Despite theories of Nazi sabotage or anti-Hitler plots, the evidence points to a simpler tragedy: the fatal combination of highly flammable fuel, bad weather, and a structural failure. The 34-second crash was caught on film and broadcast globally, instantly destroying public trust in hydrogen airships. The industry was grounded indefinitely. This chart shows the shift that followed. While airship travel plummeted to zero, airplane technology evolved rapidly, reaching speeds of over 700 kilometers per hour and becoming the reliable standard for global travel. For decades, the airship timeline was considered a dead end. But today, the aviation industry faces rising pressure to lower carbon emissions, leading engineers to reconsider the physics of buoyancy. Modern companies are now building new vessels like the Airlander 10. These ships use non-flammable helium and modern materials to revive lighter-than-air flight. These ships release about 1/10 of the carbon emissions of a traditional jet. They require less fuel, stay aloft for days, and fly almost silently. The Hindenburg disaster didn't actually end the dream of lighter-than-air flight. It simply paused the timeline until modern emissions targets made these designs